looking for somewhere to lay his head. You have to be careful when you get tired, because you're more susceptible to the attacks of the enemy when you get tired. Any other time you could have just held your peace. Any other time you could have just bit your tongue. But today you were tired and you just felt like giving them a piece of your mind. You're more susceptible to the attacks of the enemy when you're tired. You got to be careful when you get weary, when you get weak, when you get discouraged, when you get tired, because it's at that point that the enemy comes to destroy you. Samson, the old man, was just looking for somewhere to lay his head. He was looking for a moment of rest, a moment of relaxation, a moment of pleasure, a moment of contentment. And he lays his head in Delilah's lap. And we know what happens. Delilah shaves off the hair of his head, and the Philistines rush in and they take him. Now notice the first thing the Philistines do, they pluck out his eyes. You see, they want to reduce him to the most helpless, incapable state possible. So they take his vision. The Bible says, without a vision, my people perish. You can lose everything else in your life, but when you lose your vision, it's a different story entirely. When you lose your vision, because see, if you can see it, you can be it. If you can see it, you can do it. But if you cannot see it, you're doomed to stumble around pursuing something that you'll never be able to obtain. Have you ever been to that place where you lost your vision? Where you stopped living and just started existing? Maybe you don't dream anymore. You used to have goals and dreams, but now you just exist from day to day. You're in a comatose state. You're numb to everything that's going on around you. Life has dealt you some very difficult cards. And now you don't dream, you don't hope anymore. You're just numb. You just exist. Have you ever been to that place where you lost your vision, where life didn't go the way you expected it to go? It didn't go the way you had planned for it to go. And now you are just existing, just there, going through each day in the exact same manner. You're not reaching for nothing. You're not pursuing nothing. You've lost your vision. This is where Samson's at. He has lost his vision. They've plucked out his eyes, and now they force him to grind corn at the grinding mill. Samson is in a dark, cold, lonely place. He's in a place that a lot of us don't even like to talk about. A very desperate and discouraged place. Samson is grinding corn at the grinding mill. He's all by himself. He has no one else. He has destroyed everything good in his life. He has burnt down every bridge that God tried to build. He has destroyed everything good God has tried to add to his life. He stands with nothing left to offer in this cold, dark, desperate, lonely place. And he's all by himself grinding corn at the grinding mill. But it's in this place that something happens. It's in this place that Samson begins to reflect, that he begins to remember his life the way it used to be. It's in this place that Samson begins to look inward, that Samson begins to go before the presence of the Lord. You see, Samson begins to grow in the dark. It's a dark place that Samson's in. Most churches don't even address this place. It's a bad, bad place. And Samson's here all by himself. But it's in this place that he begins to call out to God and cry from his broken place. He begins to grow in this dark, lonely place. See, you can't tell me that God don't work everything out for the good of them that love Him. Because God knew the exact place and position that the Philistines would have to put Samson in order for him to begin to look inward, in order for him to call upon God. Samson has lost everything But he begins to call upon God. And the Philistines call for him to make sport of him, to bring him out and make fun of him. And the Bible says that a boy leads Samson to the pillars of the temple. See, this is fascinating to me, because when God is about to do something, He will connect you with people who can do what you can't, who have talents that you don't have. The boy had the eyes, but Samson had the strength.